All right, Joe, you asked this question in our pre-show conversation. Who would the Astros playoff rotation be? What order? If it started today and assuming that Justin Verlander is healthy.
So Fromber obviously gets the ball game one.
Ooh, okay.
I don't think it's even close for, conversation at this point. The way he's pitching, what he's done in the past, like I think you have to factor all that in. Because Joe Espada has been here through everything, I think you put that in there because he's just been healthier. Even though if we're assuming here Justin Verlander is healthy. But I'm going Fromber, game one. I'm giving the ball to Hunter Brown in game 2.
Oh.
And then I'll go Justin Verlander for game 3.
Damn, dude.
And I don't think it's crazy to say Kikuchi gets the next one. I mean, you acquired him at the deadline. It's only 2 starts, but you acquired him at the deadline for a reason. And so I think by default, he becomes the guy who gets the ball next in a playoff series.
You're going 4 deep.
Well, I'm thinking for more, if they'll go 4 deep for a
7-game series. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it's obviously for the ALDS, they wouldn't do that. But
what about the wild card round? Because I don't know how that works. Like that's for poors, but I mean, we might be stuck, in the bread line, if you will, baseball's bread line, the participation trophy playoffs.
Yeah, I guess you still just go 1, 2, 3 because I believe the wild card round it's 3 days in a row, all at home. Because I know that they're all at home, but I don't think there's any days off. So you can't manipulate your rotation in a way. So in theory, you would just go, if you have to go 3 games, I would go Fromber, Brown, JV. And then, if you go to the ALDS at that point, then I guess technically Kikuchi could get the ball for game 1 of the ALDS. But I think that's your first 4. Blanco he's not falling off a cliff, but my confidence is gone in him. Like, he just looks gassed.
You just demoted him. You just took away his badge and his gun.
Yeah, I did.
What's going to happen when he goes back to his family? What's going to happen?
He'll have a good paycheck. He'll be back next season.
Man.
He'll be in the bullpen.
Just taking away the Astros' best arm of the year.
I know, but
unbelievable.
The way he's pitching right now, I
didn't even mention Spencer Arrighetti. I sense some Italian discrimination.
No, that's not fair.
It's anti-Italian discrimination.
No,
Mr. Strikeout, the greatest strikeout artist in all of baseball based on the last 2 starts. That is factual.
You're right.
So who's to say that he won't continue to be that the rest of the year?
Yeah, he's a
Astros haters. That's who will say that.
That's true. But he's a bullpen guy in the playoffs, no matter what. He's the one that's not complicated. The real question would be Kikuchi versus Blanco if you get to the 4th starter. Is who gets the ball in that moment.
You say.
What do you lean?
Well, of course, Rafael Montero's getting the opening nod, and then after that,
he could start for the Sugarland Space Cowboys in the playoffs. So you could be right here.
The first half champions, have to defend their first half championship with the second half championship. I don't know what happens if you win the first and the second half because the first half champion plays the second half champion. I guess maybe that just means you don't even play it at all. If I'm rolling into the playoffs, the person that I'm putting on the hill first, I'm going Dusty Baker mode. I'm putting Justin Verlander out there.
I think it's fair.
And I get, he hasn't had the playoff success. Whatever. Fromber still scares me from time to time. He is the Astros ace right now by default because of the injury to Justin Verlander. But I get moments with him where I get a tad nervous. Verlander 1, Fromber 2, and then after that, it gets tricky. I'm still not sure I fully trust Hunter Brown.
Okay.
Spencer Arrighetti's a rookie. Ronel Blanco. Is it Yusei Kikuchi because of the strikeout ability? Do you want to put in Yusei Kikuchi in a relief situation when that doesn't seem to be his bread and butter? And this is a guy that seems to have a very, very predetermined routine where he's sleeping, 14 hours a night?
Yeah. Yep. I forgot about that.
I feel like Kikuchi's got to be managed in a way that's best for him. And I don't know if, as a reliever, that's going to work out so well, just based off of my semi-extended time covering him.
Well, the advantage for Hunter Brown here in this situation of why you go Kikuchi over Hunter Brown is that Hunter Brown has experience in the playoffs coming out of the bullpen. Like we've seen him do it before, so he does have that not advantage, but he has that in his arsenal that you could use him in that role if you wanted to. The JV thing, I hear you. I don't think Joe Espada. If Dusty Baker was the manager, I think you'd 100% be right. I don't know if Joe Espada will feel the same way. I mean, the reality is like while JV could on a technicality still be the ace of this team because of his name. Paul, we might be in the final 10 starts, 8 starts of his career. I was reading an Athletic article. They were already looking ahead to the top 50 free agents this offseason. They got to Justin Verlander, and they're also questioning.
He's going to pitch till he's 45. Hater. He said that. He told us that once. How dare you not believe the man who married Kate Upton?
At some point,
you want to you don't believe in American dreams. At some point,
don't you want to go home to Kate Upton every night? And not have to work? I
will say many would argue that Kate Upton is not my type because she's of a different sex than my type is. That's what many would argue.
Okay.
But I will say Kate Upton, who is a beautiful woman, not my type.
Really? Is it the blonde?
I like a more athletic build.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I understand. I think that's a bad take.
Why is it a bad take? I'm not a boob guy. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
I mean, listen, she's a beautiful woman. And I mean, there's that whole, did you? That's weird. That's somebody else's wife. Okay.
Fair.
But I'm just saying, we all have our tastes.
And everyone should have their own.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what the rotation looks like. I mean, the Kikuchi versus Brown and Blanco. Do you think Blanco factors into the playoff rotation at this point, the way he's been pitching?
I truly do not know. I think you're very justified in wondering because that last start, I don't know what that means, but it doesn't seem like a good sign. Do you move him into a bullpen role? I don't know. Long relief? You still want him out there, I would think, but that was my concern over the beginning of the year. It was awesome to see what he was doing, but generally, when a guy is doing something that he has never done before, at some point it is going to stop. Every single baseball player has an opportunity to, over a couple of months, look incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, for the most part, it leaves these players outside of the really, really good ones. And that was my concern with Blanco because it felt like, okay, it's one pitch that everyone's having a tough time hitting. Unfortunately, for a guy like Ronel Blanco or for any player in baseball for that matter, it's such a damn long season that you would think eventually either you're going to get into a rut because it is a game of ups and downs, or people are going to figure you out.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Espada and Dana Brown have been telling us for a month and a half, 2 months now that they need to go to a 6-man rotation, specifically because of guys like Ronald Blanco and Spencer Arrighetti, because they're going to blow past their season highs in innings pitched. Like you're just asking these guys to do more and more than they've ever done. It's the same thing we saw with Hunter Brown last year. He was obviously never as good last year as Ronald Blanco's been this year, but once he crossed that threshold that he had never crossed before, he faltered in a big way. And that's why for me with Blanco, I just kind of expect that same thing to happen. He's 30 years old. He's never done this before.